Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. With everything that's going on with this virus right now, I thought I would make a video about how I make some extra income from home. A lot of us have been laid off from our jobs. I think it's like 10 million now in the United States alone have filed for unemployment. So I know that money is really tight for a lot of people right now. So I'm hoping that these tips are helpful for you. Now, just a disclaimer, I am not sponsored by anyone or anything. These are all ways that I personally have made extra income from my home, and I've tried a lot of different things. I did a lot of research on what you can do from home, and these were the things that I found actually made me the most amount of money. So I hope that you can do them from your own home and that you find them helpful. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first idea I have for you is to rent out your home or list it on Airbnb. Personally, we are actually having my sister-in-law stay with us, and it's been really helpful in just giving us that extra financial help with our mortgage, and it's really worked out very nicely. If you're not really that comfortable with a stranger being in your house, maybe reach out to family and friends who are looking for a place to stay. Especially if you don't really want someone that you don't know living in your house. There might be someone that you know who is in need of a space at this present time, especially with everybody pretty much losing their jobs, and maybe you could just charge them a lower rate, but at least you would be getting a little bit of that extra income for your mortgage. And similarly, on Airbnb, you could list your house as a destination place for somebody to just stay for a couple of nights. I guess in this time period, that might be a little bit riskier with more people having the virus, but hopefully this is something that will be going away eventually. The next thing is to sell your unwanted clothes. Now, personally, I have found that I've gotten the most return on Poshmark. I know there are a couple of other sites like Tradesy, there's ThreadUp, but for me, Poshmark seems to have been the most amount of things that I've sold there. They do take a bit of a commission off of your sales, so just bear that in mind, but they cover the cost of shipping in that, so I guess it's kind of like they're either way be paying for shipping anyway. But that's an option that you can do. Even if you're looking to sell something like a bridesmaid or a wedding dress, I actually sold my wedding dress on preownedweddingdresses.com and I got a really good return on that. So if it's something that's been in your closet that you've been thinking about getting rid of or selling, maybe consider doing that, because either way, if you were gonna donate your clothes anyway, you may as well try to sell them and get a little bit of a profit in that regard. And similarly, you can sell things on Facebook Marketplace. Now, for me, I found that the best things that sell on Facebook Marketplace are actually furniture. So this past summer, I bought a lot of different pieces, like mostly, surprisingly, I mostly bought nightstands, not just a single nightstand, but a pair of nightstands. And I found that those were in greater demand because if you have two, then you know, you could have someone who's interested in one or really wants both. And I think it's just harder for people to come across having two nightstands. So I focused on that, and then I painted most of them just a basic white because I think that just seems to be really popular right now. And most times I kept it between $50 to $100 that I was paying for them as is. And then I would paint them, stain them, or just put some sort of sealant on them to make sure that they were ready to go. And then I actually made a profit of like twice what I paid for them. So that was probably the best way that I made money this past summer, was selling used furniture. Now, similarly, you can also sell your used clothes on there too. I mean, I haven't had the best of luck with clothes on Facebook Marketplace, I will say that. So that's why I recommend like Poshmark or those other places online to sell your clothes. But if you have kids and you want to get rid of some of their toys, that's a really common thing to do. You could sell their old baby clothes, you could sell some toys that they're not using, or even certain baby like things that you used to use and now the kids have just grown out of them, just whatever you have around the house that other people might be looking for. You can also sell some of your home decor that you're looking to switch out anyway for the summer, but it's up to you. Again, I just say that I had the most luck with furniture because I think it's just bigger and people are looking for it, and it's something that other people like to flip as well. So if you can sell maybe your used beaten up furniture, someone might be willing to pay a little bit for it, and then you get some money off of that rather than just throwing it into the junk. The next thing is Etsy. Now, if you're very crafty and you know how to make things or sew, or even if you don't know how to make stuff, maybe you can teach yourself. I mean, we have all this time on our hands, you could probably learn how to make things and sell them. Now, I will say, before you go looking for your closet and like, oh, I can make this and sell it to someone who might want it, like, do your research first, because a lot of times people will just like think of things in their head that they basically, it's all like what you think someone might be wanting. But you should really do your research and look at the market that's on there now, especially for price comparison, so that you know, okay, this is what's in demand right now and this is how much I can actually make off of it. Now, with this virus going around, I've seen so many people making these DIY face masks with cloth or whatever other supplies they're using to make them. But those are really, really popular and high in demand right now, especially with hospitals being so low on them. So that's a really great thing to look into, learning how to make and sew and sell. And then also you could look up how to make hand sanitizers or other cosmetic or even hygienic products that people are going to be needing within the next couple months that might be hard for them to find in the store. So keep those in mind. You can certainly sell like the nice little things that people are looking for, like personalized items, wedding favors. A lot of wedding stuff is sold on Etsy. For me, I actually bought a couple of pillow covers that I really wanted for a couch off there, because I just wasn't finding what I was looking for in Home Goods or, you know, other stores, and I found them on Etsy. So I actually did purchase my pillow covers there. So another thing that you could sew and sell. But again, do your research and find what is selling. The next thing is dog walking or dog or cat sitting. So there are a couple of different apps that you can use for this. Personally, I used Rover. There's also, I think, Wag and Woof. But basically, if you want to get outside anyway, this is a great opportunity to just get paid to be walking around with somebody else's dog. But if you aren't as comfortable with that and just want to sit in your house with them, you can do that as well. I know that Rover offers for you to select if you want to just have them in your house, or if you go over to the other person's house, but that is up to you. The next thing is having your own at-home daycare, or going on care.com and being a nanny or a babysitter. I actually watched my niece for a bit of time while I had my son back when he was a little bit younger, and made a little bit of a profit from watching her just from my own home. I actually have worked at a daycare before, and after working there, I just feel like that verified my feelings of sending my child to daycare. But I think more and more people are realizing that there's value in one-on-one personal nannies and babysitters. Personally, I'm more comfortable if it's another mom who's watching my child. So if you are a mom, you definitely have a one up there. So take advantage of that. I mean, if you have a home and you have a playroom that you could have another child in, that would be pretty easy, especially if you know the person. I would recommend, if you don't already have CPR training, and just kind of go over basic safety guidelines to make sure hopefully nothing will happen, but just if they do, have a backup emergency plan. The next thing is to sell your baked goods. If you're someone who knows how to bake or really likes to bake, this is something you could make a profit off. Just make your pies or your cakes or your cookies. I mean, people love homemade baked goods. You could advertise yourself on Craigslist and keep your prices low, and then you can work them up as you gain more traction. Next is to use your skills to give lessons. So if you know how to play the piano, or you know how to dance or draw, use whatever skill you have to tutor somebody else. And similarly with tutoring, you could give the skills of helping a child with tutoring and their math or their science or whatever subject that they're struggling with that you really excel in. That's something that people are always looking for, is tutors and that one-on-one time with someone who can really help them to hone and perfect their skills. You could advertise on Craigslist, and I also know that TaskRabbit is a really good place, especially if you're a handy person and say someone is just looking for you to change their light fixture or to paint a wall in their room. That's a great place, especially if like you're a handyman and looking for some extra work to do for someone else who is looking for projects in their house that need to be finished. The next thing is to become an Amazon affiliate. So if you're someone who has a large following on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media, and you find that there are things that you could recommend to them, you can sign up to be an Amazon affiliate and post links to the products that you're mentioning and recommending to them. And then if they click on it, you get a profit off of what they buy. Now, just a forewarning, I actually did this with Amazon affiliates a couple months ago, and that was before I had a bit of a following. So you have to meet a certain requirement of the amount of people that click on these things before you can actually get money. So in other words, you have to have people buying the things that you're advertising within a certain amount of time, otherwise you're going to be kicked out of the program. So just, again, that's why I say if you have a good following, if you feel pretty sure that there are going to be people who want these things that you're recommending, if you feel like you have that trust with people, then I would recommend that this is something that you could definitely do. And it's becoming more and more popular as there are a lot of YouTubers who are, you know, talking about their favorites on Amazon and that sort of thing. So this is something that if you have a good following, you could try out. And the last thing is to invest in stock. Now, I know this is another one of those like tricky ones, especially with people being very uncertain about the stock market right now. But if you're a beginner like we were, you could start with this app called Robinhood. And this is really helpful for someone who doesn't really know the market very well to kind of dip your feet in it and see what you can make of it. It's basically just more beginner friendly in buying and trading and selling and all that. So if it is something that you want to try out, just know that this is an option. Well, I hope you found these ideas helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you did and share it with others who might be struggling as well. And let me know what was your favorite part of the video. Did you feel like there was a specific thing that you've had experience with that you feel like is really helpful that other people could try to make some extra income? I mean, we're all in this together, guys. And personally, that's why I've done my research in looking into how can I make money from home. So I came up with this list of things that actually work for me. So before you go doing millions of surveys that are going to get you nowhere, just try some of these out. I promise you will have some return on most of these things that I've mentioned. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I am a DIYer, I'm a decorator, I have motherhood and all kinds of other videos for you to check out. So please check out the rest of my channel and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you here next time. Have a good day.